What's up, what's up? It's your boy Micah back at it again with another video, here to bring you another burst of absolute evil. And today, we're going to talk about drug addiction. Specifically, meth, heroin, crack, and all that other shit. And it's, I don't want to say application, but it's misapplication, especially when it comes to necromancy. First, a little bit of not so much backstory, but a little bit of context. Amongst my abilities, I have this very strange talent for being able to pick out the energy signatures of specific drugs and chemicals a person is taking, having never taken them myself. That provides context for what I'm about to say. I have seen multiple cases of practitioners taking meth, being addicted to it, and using that to fuel their magic. Sounds insane, but it actually happens. The other day, one of my exes took, if I'm not mistaken, meth, and tried to cast against me while she was on that drug. Now, from my experience, having seen this and having talked to other practitioners, other homies of mine who experienced the same thing, the magic that is cast against you would not have the personal energy currents of the person that's fulfilling it. Whatever baneful, dark shit is being cast your way is fueled entirely by that fucking drug. It changes the chemical composition of the body, which produces not only physical changes, but energetic and spiritual changes as well, and magical changes. You have to keep in mind that every substance, every plant, every drug has an associated spirit that goes with it. It has a daemon or a demon that goes with it. Just like if you read the Liber Falcifer series, it talks about the demon of tobacco, Amiazatan, right? So, the magic that is done against you is fueled by that person and that particular spirit that is possessing that person and the chemical changes that is going on in the body. This provides one benefit and one benefit only. That benefit is the magic is much stronger than it normally would be if it was just that person and they were not on drugs or doing whatever. The drawback is that it leaves the person vulnerable as fuck to energy reversals, soul shattering, and any other kind of attack besides their shields, of course. It hits you hard as hell. Like, that shit is like getting punched by the fucking Hulk on steroids. It fucking hits you. But if you can break past that shit and fucking reverse it, it's gonna completely destroy the individual after they come off their fucking high or whatever it is. Whether euphoria or drug fuel craze, whatever the fuck it may be. Also, you gotta remember that since these drugs have spirits associated with them, if your enemy who's taken meth or heroin or whatever gets hit by this reversal, that could impact them in the sense that perhaps they overdose, or their dealer gives them a bad strain, something that's laced with some other bullshit. You feel me? That's how we get most of these other concoctions and variations, such as Flakka, K2, you know what I'm saying? All those other kind of bullshit. And it can end very badly for them, which, hey, if they fuck with you, it serves them right. You shouldn't be using meth or whatever to fuel your shit. Now, there are other drugs, especially hallucinogens, shrooms, LSD, ayahuasca, datura, etc., that produce chemical changes in the body, produce an excess of DMT, which then produces spiritual and energetic changes that allow you to have visions, astral travel, do shamanic journeying, you know what I'm saying? Engage with spirit evocation and invocation on a much deeper level. However, you have to do shit in fucking moderation. You cannot allow yourself to get addicted to it. Now, you could argue this and say, well, you're smoking tobacco. Tobacco is a drug, so to speak, with other ingredients added to it. Yes, that's true. However, a pact is formed in order to be able to wield the sorcerer's powers of this shit. This is not some willy-nilly, oh, well, I'm just going to get some tobacco today, and I'm going to just wield these powers. No. You have to form a pact in order to do this. The pact acts as a safeguard for both you and the entity, and it acts as a structure system, a system of self-control, so to speak, so you do not end up getting addicted to it. You can simply put it down or do whatever, and truly use it in its magical capacity without offending the corresponding demon, and then having shit like, in the case of tobacco, fucking lung disease, cardiac arrest, shit fucking with your respiratory system, catching coronavirus, all this other kind of shit, you feel me? So it's like you have to do shit in fucking moderation if you're gonna do it at all. So to kind of trail back with the whole thing about drug addiction. Drug addiction is a very fucking tough thing to fucking break. I've known multiple people who have struggled with addiction to meth, addiction to alcohol, addiction to heroin, all this other kind of shit. I even met a Orthodox Christian, a real Orthodox Christian, like traditional Greek type shit, who struggled with meth addiction and overcame the shit and gained an amount of control to where they don't necessarily need it, so to speak. They don't have the physiological need for it. It's more of a mental habit, so to speak. And they're able to work on that and control how the drug eventually affects them physically, so they can actually use it for magical benefit. It's possible to gain that level of strength and that level of power with what you're struggling with. In the first place, just don't do it. This is literally where just say no, just say no comes in, because it leaves you vulnerable to baneful attack. It leaves you vulnerable to thought forms, parasites, egregores, all this other nasty shit that you really don't want to deal with while you're in that state. And the very fact that, let's say, an enemy of yours is using meth, heroin, etc., means that their life is shit. Like, besides the little teenagers and shit who just figure, oh, I'm gonna just try it one time and then go from there, outside of that circumstance, you gotta be in the shithole of life in order to go that direction. You feel me? So you have an opening there. Make it much easier to implant seeds of confusion, seeds of mental chaos, seeds of psychic disorder, nightmares, all this other kind of shit. And it's a lot easier to perform energy work on them, to fuck with the root chakra, all this other kind of shit. It's easier to poison them because the process has already started. They're poisoning their own body, they're poisoning their mind, they're poisoning their spirit, and thus their sorcery fails. You feel me? You see how one affects the other, this chain of cause and effect? So just keep that in mind. Be wise. If you're gonna use a drug substance, any kind, shrooms, ayahuasca, heroin, meth, whatever, control the drug. Don't let the drug control you. Set things in place that will help you regulate how it affects your body, how it affects your energy, how it affects your mind. That way you can use it as an ally, a plant ally, so to speak, and gain from it rather than becoming addicted to it. For example, I regularly now use ayahuasca and datura to aid in astral projection, void magic, all the other good shit, astral shape-shifting, etc. However, it's to the point to where I don't need it in order to do these things. The last time I had an ayahuasca trip was like 2 to 3 weeks ago, and that's by choice. I have not experienced any withdrawals, no mental backlash, psychic backlash, etc. I have the shit under control. Now, yes, there will always be a slight struggle. For example, when you're using tobacco for ritual purposes, there's going to be a slight struggle there, but that struggle is not the struggle of fighting against an addiction. It's more of a struggle of self-control, so to speak.